Right now, the wildfire threat becomes real in Juneau County as roughly 100 acres burn outside Necedah. We'll have an update on containment efforts. Plus, as the governor declares a fire danger emergency, how the National Guard and the DNR assemble their teams to tackle wildfires in Wisconsin. And for the first time in a long time, food prices start to level off. A closer look at the numbers and how the Federal Reserve will have a big decision to make. You're watching News 3 Now at 10. A large wildfire is now contained after burning about 100 acres in Juneau County. Officials say it started in the township of Necedah, where people were told to evacuate from several structures that were in the fire's path. The National Guard sending out 2 Black Hawk helicopters to help battle the flames. For more on what happened, let's go live to Necedah, where Braden Ross is at the evacuation center. Braden?
Yeah, so this fire, as of about 2.5 hours ago, it has been contained, but crews are still going to stick around here overnight, watch for any hot spots, anything that might flare up. We're at the evacuation center right now, where residents have come that were under a voluntary evacuation order. They're here at this evacuation center where the Red Cross and Salvation Army were helping people that were displaced get into motel rooms overnight. They're told they still can't get back until tomorrow morning, likely. And they had some disabled and elderly people, so they wanted to put them in beds. They said they just could not have them in cots.
Whenever you have the fact that there's structures that are involved, you wonder, what am I going to go home to, or if I'm going to go home. So due to that, it's a very emotional time for everybody here.
Now, again, more than 100 acres have burned here. There have been multiple structures damaged. Everyone telling me it's just going to be a long night of trying to keep this fire contained and keep everybody safe. For now, in Necedah, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
All right, Braden, thank you. Meanwhile, another wildfire is burning at Fort McCoy, closing part of the interstate nearby. That fire was reported on the base's northeast border. Due to the heavy smoke, the interstate between Tomah and Black River Falls is closed. Drivers are being detoured along Interstate 90 and State Highway 27. A controlled burn was happening at Fort McCoy this afternoon, but it is not yet clear if those 2 fires are related. And the National Guard doesn't normally fight fires as part of its duties, but this state of emergency changes that. Armand Rahman spoke to a pilot just this afternoon to find out what it looks like for Guard members.
The state of emergency prioritizes firefighting missions over anything else the National Guard has going on, as they stand ready to take off with a call from the DNR.
Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hours to get where we're going. Sometimes it's at our back door.
2 Black Hawk helicopters equipped with fire buckets and 2 crews are on standby from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the duration of the emergency. Typically, they're just called in to help with firefighting efforts.
We will usually deploy water buckets and move water places in coordination with the firefighting teams on the ground. We can also move people. We've moved firefighters before to get them from one spot to maybe another spot that's harder to get to.
According to the DNR, the state of emergency and red flag warning are not uncommon.
What's unusual is to have them all happening at the same time. So seeing that lower 2/3 of the state is a little odd for us.
That's why officials say it keeps agencies on high alert and ready to work together.
We definitely up our preparedness levels around. We cancel all burning permits and really discourage any kind of outdoor burning.
The Wisconsin DNR provides funding for the National Guard's water buckets. Fire response is also a part of their annual training rotations. For News 3 Now, I'm Armand Rahman.
Armand, thanks. In Milwaukee, fire crews responded to a 3-alarm fire that damaged 4 homes this afternoon. 3 of those homes are now considered to be complete losses. No injuries were reported. The Red Cross responding to the scene for 6 people who are now without their homes. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, but Milwaukee Fire says windy conditions played a factor in how that fire spread. Air monitoring is underway at the site of a toxic recycling plant fire in eastern Indiana. As of this afternoon, at least 2,000 people have been evacuated in a half-mile radius of the blaze. The flames broke out Tuesday. Local fire officials expect it could burn for days. While the potentially hazardous smoke lingers over nearby homes and businesses, authorities warn residents to bring in their pets, stay indoors, and don't touch any debris that falls in their yards.
These are very fine particles, and if they're breathed in, can cause all kinds of respiratory problems. Burning of the eyes, tightening of the chest. It could aggravate asthma, could cause bronchitis and all kinds of things.
This is along I-70, eastern Indiana, near Richmond. While the exact cause is under investigation, city leaders placed the blame squarely on the recycling plant's owner, claiming the owner had been cited by the Unsafe Building Commission and was ordered to clean up that property. More warm weather on the way for tomorrow. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti and your First Warn forecast. Gary?
And Eric, maybe some high fire danger again, because we'll see breezy conditions, the humidity levels will stay low, and the temperatures will stay warm. Let's start out by taking a look at the fire weather bulletins. We have a fire weather watch for all of southern Wisconsin from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Already, the National Weather Service in Davenport, Iowa, issuing a red flag warning for eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois for high fire danger. The time lapse from the WISC TV Skycam in Madison shows clear skies, sun up to sunset. A great sunset in the west without any clouds there, but you can see it was a beautiful day sunshine-wise. Now, low temperatures this morning here in Madison, we dropped to 60 degrees. As long as we don't drop below that before midnight, we will set a record. Actually, the record for today is 56 degrees, so we'll set a record for the warmest low temperature for the day. Our high temperature did not set a record, but they set records in Milwaukee, Dubuque, La Crosse, 90 degrees for a high temperature today, and you can see temperatures well into the 80s through most of southern Wisconsin. We're still in the 70s, even at 10 o'clock at night. 70s and upper 60s across southern Wisconsin. Right now, 71 degrees in McFarland, 72 in Sun Prairie, and 71 in Cross Plains, but the humidity levels remain low. They're right around 30 to 35%. This time of night, they should be about 60 to 80%, so the air is very dry. Look for clear skies overnight. It'll be breezy, unseasonably mild, low temperature at 57. Could be close to a record high temperature for tomorrow. When will this warm weather end, and when will the fire danger end? I'll have more on that in the weather in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. Next at 10, the Madison man accused of tying cords across a part of the Badger State Trail bike path last year has pleaded not guilty. Curtis Tesmer faces 4 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety after DNA evidence linked him to those cords. Despite allegedly confessing to hanging the cords, Tesmer pleaded not guilty during his court appearance today. He also requested a reduction of his $1,000 cash bond, which was denied. 22-year-old Keontae Jackson now faces attempted intentional homicide charges after that recent shooting outside a downtown Madison bar. Jackson is also being charged for possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. That shooting happened outside Danny's Pub on Gorham Street last weekend. Witnesses say the victim was shot after an altercation. The victim ultimately survived. Jackson's bond set at $100,000. He'll be back in court next week. In northwestern Wisconsin, a vigil was held for the 2 officers who were killed in the line of duty over the weekend. The vigil for 32-year-old Chautauqua police officer Emily Breidenbach and 23-year-old Cameron police officer Hunter Scheel was held at Mosaic Technologies in Cameron.
Emily was the type of officer that it didn't matter what you gave her. It was 100% or nothing at all. She proved it.
A funeral service is set for 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon at Cameron High School with a visitation starting at 9 that morning. Governor Evers has also ordered flags to fly at half-staff on Saturday in both officers' honor. Tonight, we're hearing the voices of people impacted by a mass shooting in their first calls for help. The Louisville Metro Police Department released 911 calls made during Monday's shooting at a bank where 5 people died and more were injured.
911, Operator Frost, where's your emergency?
Get here now. We need somebody.
Okay, what color?
Now.
Okay.
Louisville police say within 3 minutes of the first calls, officers arrived. About the time they did, the gunman's mother called 911.
I don't know what to do. I need your help. I think he's never hurt anyone. He's a really good kid. Please don't come up to him.
You don't believe he owns guns?
I know he doesn't own any guns.
Well, police say Sturgeon had legally purchased a gun just days earlier. His family says in a statement he had mental health challenges they were actively addressing, and they said, quote, there were never warning signs. Former President Trump is suing his former personal attorney for more than $500 million. He filed that federal lawsuit in Florida against Michael Cohen, accusing him of spreading false information. Trump also says Cohen breached confidentiality agreements with public statements, published books, and other media appearances. Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison for federal tax evasion and campaign finance violations, in part due to the money given to Stormy Daniels to cover up an alleged affair with Trump, an affair Trump denies. The former president also asking a judge to delay a sexual assault and defamation trial. That case, brought by former magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll, was scheduled to start April 25th. But lawyers for Trump want to delay it until the end of May. They say that would allow for a cooling off period following Trump's indictment. Meanwhile, Carroll's attorneys are opposing that delay request. Trump has denied sexually assaulting Carroll. The second of 2 black Democrats expelled from the Republican-led Tennessee House will return to the legislature after a vote reinstated him today. Justin Pearson said at the meeting, quote, "You can't expel our voice, and you sure can't expel our fight." Pearson is expected to return to the Capitol tomorrow when the House holds its next floor session. Wisconsin Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin is running for a 3rd term. The Madison native made that announcement today. She says there's a lot at stake in 2024, including reproductive rights and inflation. Senator Baldwin was first elected to the Senate, beating former Governor Tommy Thompson in 2012, easily won re-election in 2018 over challenger Leah Vukmir. So far, no Republican challengers have entered that race. And a name picked out of a bag determined the winner of Madison's 14th District Common Council race today. After the election, Noah Lieberman led Isidore Knox Jr. by just 2 votes. A provisional ballot later trimmed that lead to 1, then a recount resulted in a tie. So they put 2 names on pieces of paper, put them in a bag, and the original losing candidate Knox's name was pulled out. So Isidore Knox Jr. will be sworn in on April 18th. Next at 10, a new report shows inflation is slowing down, but high prices continue to strain budgets. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York.
For the first time in 2.5 years, prices at the grocery store went down. The tiny 0.3% drop from February to March is a sign inflation is moving in the right direction. Used car prices have fallen 9 months in a row, and the cost of rent is stabilizing. Overall, inflation rose 5% in March, the lowest annual increase in nearly 2 years, and way down from the more than 9% jump last summer.
This is a good report. I mean, we are seeing the pace of inflation start to decelerate.
The trend can't come fast enough for families struggling with rising prices. Many food pantries, including this one in St. Joseph, Missouri, are seeing higher demand.
It's the cost of just keeping the staples on the table that is, I believe, driving people to look for their local food pantry.
The Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to bring inflation down.
The Fed has already increased interest rates by almost 500 basis points, almost 5% in just about a year.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the board now has to decide if another boost is needed.
I think the Fed is going to have a difficult decision. Prices are coming down already. They don't want to slow things down too much.
Slowing the economy too much could lead to a recession. The Fed will make its decision on rates next month. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
When we come back, an update to that large wildfire in Juneau County. Also, the Biden administration proposing tougher emissions standards. Why some experts say officials might be moving too quickly to change an entire industry.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class 3rd-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-base recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Transform your yard into something you can be proud of. From initial design to complete finished installation, Maple Leaf will design a yard that'll be the envy of the neighborhood. Maple Leaf Landscaping, your year-round property care specialists. Just look for the orange leaf.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Nikki and Brie Bella are so connected, it's scary. Who is the first to apologize after a fight?
Oh my gosh, yeah, right.
And DB Woodside stops by.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Students at a university in Milwaukee are scrambling to figure out how they will continue their education after the school announced it's closing at the end of the spring semester. Cardinal Stritch is closing its doors after 86 years. School leaders blame it on falling enrollment, money issues, and operational changes. Students like Marlon Mora Gomez say they're sad to be leaving. She's here on a full-ride scholarship, and while she's working with university staff to figure out transfer options, she's not sure what'll be her next step.
I'm a first-gen student. I'm the oldest in my family. I'm the first to go to college, so it's kind of like, not only is it a disappointment to me, it was heartbreaking to tell my parents.
And the university will still celebrate its final commencement May 21st at the Wisconsin Center. The White House announcing tough new emission standards today aimed at cutting pollution and increasing electric vehicle sales. If the proposed rules are enacted, the EPA estimates that by 2032, 67% of all passenger vehicles sold will be electric. 50% of vocation vehicles like buses and garbage trucks, and 25% of long-haul freight trailers will be electric as well. But former GM executive and auto industry advisor Larry Burns says the EV market is still too young to take over the market.
This is tough work to do. And to go from where we are today in the U.S. to 2/3 of our vehicles being battery electric vehicles by 2030 to 2032, boy, that's a pretty big ask.
Well, the government will also have to scale up the infrastructure to ensure all of the electric vehicles on the road can recharge when necessary. Last year, just under 6% of all new cars sold were electric vehicles. Well, check out the super bloom of poppies. It has returned to California after the wet winter they had out there, but there are new rules in place after droves of tourists came out back in 2019. In some areas back then, trampling the flowers. Now, some towns have warned visitors they could face arrest this year if they don't pay attention to the rules. Warm temps again for tomorrow, and Gary, the wind is also noteworthy here in terms of fanning the flames.
The wind and the dry weather, and then also the potential for the humidity to stay very, very low. So what happens is you've got all that dry grass. We really haven't started to green up this year, and that's just a really good setup for wildfires. And unfortunately, we saw it in Juneau County already today.
So we're hoping for rain now.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Long time away.
Yeah, probably Saturday. We'll have to wait till then. Let's start out by taking a look at 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Not only will it be dry tomorrow, but we could set a record high temperature. That's very much in reach. Dry conditions along with the low humidity and the breezy winds mean high fire danger for tomorrow. But thunderstorms on Saturday will probably get to the point where we can get away with end the fire danger, but also will take care of the warm temperatures as well. Record high temperatures today fell in a number of cities. Madison was not one of them, but La Crosse hit 90 degrees. They broke their old record high by 9 degrees. Wausau's 86 broke their record by 8 degrees. And Wisconsin Rapids and Green Bay, their records were set by 6 degrees. Milwaukee 83 and Dubuque, Iowa also set or tied records. But tomorrow we have the possibility of doing that here in Madison. That's because our forecast high is 80 degrees. The record high for tomorrow is a little bit lower at 78 degrees, set back in 1938. So I think that is certainly within reach. We'll probably set a record again for the warmest low temperature for today. Doppler track not a drop of rain anywhere around Wisconsin. The nearest rain that shows up, North Dakota and into southern Canada, and actually moving away from the Midwest. But even while it's so dry, we have river flood warnings for parts of the Wisconsin River in Juneau and Adams counties down into Columbia County around Portage and up into northern portions of Green Lake County along the Fox River there. So, and there are also flood watches now starting to be issued for parts of the Mississippi River, flood warning up into parts of west central Wisconsin. That's where all that snow melt up north, then the water is starting to make it into the river system and head southward into our area. Now, as you take a look at the fire weather bulletins, already a fire weather watch for all of southern Wisconsin from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow. To the south, already a red flag warning for parts of Iowa and northwestern Illinois, but you can see those red flag warnings go all the way back into parts of Texas and New Mexico. Again, those watches may have to be upgraded to warnings if the dry conditions continue for tomorrow. Look at the high temperatures for today. 83 Madison, 86 I mentioned in Wausau, Minneapolis almost at 90. 90s were found from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, back into western portions of Kansas. And we'll probably see similar temperatures for tomorrow. So again, that fire weather watch from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Again, just don't burn outside if you don't have to. Otherwise, look for a high of 80. That would break a record here in Madison. It'll be breezy and unseasonably warm. Planning your day across Dane County, look for a high of 77 Mount Horeb, 80 in Waunakee, 80 in Sun Prairie with mostly sunny skies. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, 82 La Crosse, 80 in Prairie du Chien, and 77 for the high in Watertown. As we look at our first warn 7 to 10 day forecast, Friday still warm, 77. Saturday, showers and thunderstorms, high of 74, but a cold front comes through, and then you can see those temperatures really nosedive. 47 for a high on Sunday, and those rain showers actually may mix with a few flakes of snow Sunday night into Monday morning before they come to an end. Monday will be windy and chilly, but then those temperatures go back up into the lower to middle 60s for next week. Maybe some shower and thunderstorm chances from Thursday night into Friday.
And coming up in sports, Wisconsin softball continued their role at Goodman. The big inning that pushed the Badgers past the Tommies is next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Pick and Save, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Well, just wanted to record a little message with Gabriel here about the awesome windows. Looks absolutely amazing. Just getting so much natural light and not nearly as much heat coming through. It's fantastic. So thank you guys so much for everything that you did. Excellent work, and would highly recommend to everybody. Thanks.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin knocks out symptoms from over 200 allergens without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Live Claritin Clear.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
Community is helping each other, making sure your neighbor is taken care of. At Lake Ridge Bank, community is who we are. We take pride in being a community bank, strengthening relationships and investing in the places we come from. It's why we are who we are. Lake Ridge Bank. Go far, go together.
When your door is always open, so is the fridge. At Pick and Save, however you shop, in-store, pickup, or delivery, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards. That's a win-win-win. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Championship status, that's it. Win championships. I firmly believe Coach Fickell's going to win a national championship here.
Ever since Luke Fickell took over, it's been a one-track mind for Wisconsin football: win championships. And if Tanner Mordecai wants to be a part of that success, he's going to have to lead the Badgers to the top this upcoming season, his only season at Madison. The SMU transfer is expected to be the starter come September, and Mordecai can make all the throws. Those are Phil Longo's words, not mine. And the UWOC also said he's liked what he's seen from a guy who looks like the total package at QB.
I'm excited to see him in live action. You know, he's got the leadership part of it. He's an athlete, and I think every day that we practice, he gets better executing the offense on the field. So things bode well for us, in my opinion, right now at quarterback.
Badger softball continues to trend upward. Wisconsin is currently on a 5-game win streak and have won 7 of their last 8 games. It was a Let's Play 2-day for Yvette Healy's squad with St. Thomas in town. After a scoreless first inning, Badgers got hot in the second. Bases loaded for Brooke Kuffel, and she smacks one into the gap to bring home a pair, and that was just part of the scoring in this one. Later in the frame, bases juiced for Skylar Sardashny. And check this out. She drops the blooper into center to clear the bases. Wisconsin scored 9 runs in the second. They'd go on to win 10-0 the final in 5 innings. Rubber match between the Brewers and Diamondbacks. Jansen Junk starting for the Brewers because Brandon Woodruff was placed on the 15-day IL. It wasn't the best of starts. Junk gave up 5 runs, including this 3-run bomb in the third on 7 hits in 4 2/3 innings pitched. Brewers fall 7-3 the final. Another day, another former Maverick heading to Madison. This time it's Simon Tassi following his former coaches and committing to the Wisconsin men's hockey team. Now, Tassi only played 15 games last season because he was recovering from an ACL tear. He'll have 3 years of eligibility as a Badger. And this should come as no surprise. Steve Stricker is officially in to play in this year's AmFam Championship. The tournament host announced his commitment alongside good friend and 2-time champ Jerry Kelly. The AmFam Champ tees off on June 9th at University Ridge. We're back after this.
At Stanton Optical, independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
No more suffering from chronic nagging joint pain. The hope for relief is here at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids.
Nothing beats giving people their quality of life back. And that's what we do here at QC Kinetics, every day.
Regenerative treatments provide long-term results by addressing the root cause of pain right in the office. Call for your complimentary consultation today. QC Kinetics. Finally, hope for relief.
Upgrade the look of your deck with Menards. Pittsburgh Deck Cleaner removes dirt and mildew stains to restore your deck. Apply before staining. A 2.5-gallon container is $14.99 after rebate. Complete your deck's makeover with Pittsburgh paints and stains. Pittsburgh Stain and Sealant protects and highlights the natural beauty of wood. UV light and abrasion resistance ensures a beautiful, long-lasting coating. A gallon of ultra-advanced semi-transparent stain and sealant is $34.49 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
This may sound strange, but you've been here before. You were here when this wrench was turned, and when this line was drawn. Oh, and when this stitch was sewn. Because you inspired the Lexus ES to be, well, more you. So thank you. We hope you like your work.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at LensCrafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
A Job's Best Friend, Thursday at 6.
Michael Jordan's 1998 NBA Finals Game 2 Air Jordan 13s from his Last Dance season have become the most expensive sneaker ever sold at auction. The shoes sold for $2.2 million during an online auction at Sotheby's last night, marking a new world record for a pair of sneakers ever sold. Those shoes were worn in Game 2 of the NBA Finals, where Michael scored 37 points, and they're considered to be in remarkable condition with big silver signatures, this you see right there, from his illness. Gary, they tried to auction off your weather kit from when you were a little kid, only got 12 bucks.
I was going to say, I could auction off my my shoes that I used to mow the lawn, you know. I wear all summer.
Warm weather staying with us, Gary.
Yeah, we're going to be mowing lawns before too long, but it's dry out there. There's a live view from the Edgewater Sky Camp. Pretty night out there. 72 right now in Madison. 66 Janesville. It's actually warmer to the north and west. 75 in Camp Douglas. 75 in Black River Falls here in Dane County. 69 in Oregon. 69 in Verona, but 74 in Sauk City. Look for clear skies tonight, low temperature 57, high tomorrow of 80 would break a record for Madison, but again, that fire weather watch from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. tomorrow. We could go through this fire weather situation all over again tomorrow.
2 weeks, we went from snow of, what, 8 inches to this. Have a great night, folks. Thanks for joining us.